spectacular needed to be done to get here so far. And I think we knew that we're going to... Was that the third point, the third shot that you were talking about, the killing shot?
Yeah, normally if you're on the attacking side during the third shot, you normally just win the rally because it actually sets up for your fourth and fifth shot.
Oh, it really is about playing ahead of the game.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you've got a 6th and 7th and 8th shot just in case, ready to go if you need to.
It's because if you anticipate the game properly.
And I think this is virtual replay here. That's going to be showing us 7 unforced errors in that first game. But this is also a topic that we've been talking about. Do you really have unforced errors in a game as fast as doubles? Isn't everything kind of forced? Or couldn't you make that argument that it's not exactly the same as singles?
Yeah, well, I think because we are used to actually playing at that speed. So I wouldn't say it was forced, but, well, some points it is, obviously.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, I've actually seen you right in front of the net, especially bang, bang, bang. And it's got to be hard to control them. It's got to be. These are the things that you don't hear me saying on the commentary. But I've often wondered. And so I've been using this opportunity to talk to managers and talk to players just to find out these little details. And so far, this has been a blistering performance from Muar City. They are now 10-1 up in the tie. And this will certainly put them up near about the top of the table. Have to check everything. And confirm all that, of course, after the tie. But both Muar and Puchong, of course, match days took away +13 and +14. Well, I've just been informed that those calculations have been done, and that's what we have producers for. Fantastic like that. So if Muar City actually comes away with a +14 game difference here, and as I said, they're on 9 now, with a few matches to play, then they will be top of the league. And I'm sure that was going to be their aim when they came into it. But it's getting harder to keep to that aim. All these teams have been strengthening and tightening up their games. Looking less likely. We'll see those massive spreads.
4-3.
But what we have here, of course, is based on the first phase, Bangsar Hawks were one of the victims of those big losses, so they were at the bottom of the table, and they're now fighting to move up the table, whereas Muar, well, the least they're going to be, if the improbable happens, which is where they lose everything from here, they'll still be mid-table. 4-all. Well, we can definitely see a nice combination happening as we expected between Wee Kyung and his partner, the other side of the net. What's happening there?
I think both Wee Kyung and Kok Siang, they combine with each other well, in the sense that they cover each other's gaps really well. So they just run around each other.
Yeah.
6-4.
And of course, on the other side, it's getting more and more urgent.
Service over. 5-6.
But as you said, it would be great to see some of these young players that have been identified by the Kopiko Purple League donning national colours at some point in the future, playing the biggest stages of all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens to some of these players in the future.
Well, if it is a full league format, then they'll all be sold to different clubs everywhere.
It's a shame these players don't get spotted.
Yeah, But
now they are.
I think, as I said, you know, when during my journalist days, that was the first thing that that came up, was the fact that there was so much sport in Malaysia that just wasn't covered.
Yeah.
And that really does come down to a lot of different details, but it just seems a bit odd when you have world #1 in squash and badminton and they're not on TV. It's very strange. Now the squash fraternity, of course, the squash players are such a tight-knit group. They literally do everything together. But badminton is so widespread in Malaysia. In fact, you could probably give us an insight onto that. You, with your sister, of course, have come through the ranks, but you know, when you first got into badminton, there was loads of people playing it everywhere, and it was...
Yeah, we actually started off playing at Tropicana Club, Golf and Country Club. We used to go there every weekend. We actually started off playing with our dad, actually. So he kind of coached us, made us run up and down. Oh, we hated that so much.
But I think that's the influence you need. So if he wasn't there, there would have been a chance that you didn't take up badminton?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That must happen to a lot of young players who get a better option to go do something which they would seem as less risky.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you walk around the neighborhood and you see people playing badminton just over the fence.
And in that time, we've just got a little bit of background into the Malaysian badminton scene. It's already another 2 games for Muar City. Don't forget, I just said it, plus 14 is what they need if they're going to go top of the table. A spot currently occupied by Puchong United, and second place by Kopong. And I can't give you any information on Kopong's performance because, well, their manager was sitting next to me. So it wouldn't be very fair. But currently, there's only been that 1 game, and that was Zulfadli's 1 game in the first match, which has gone Bangsar Hawks' way. Everything else has been a pretty clinical dismissal.
I think the next mixed doubles game coming up, Bangsar has got quite a strong pairing with Danny Cristinanta and Vanessa Neo, who just recently won the silver medalist in the Macau GP Gold.
Oh, right, brilliant. So a chance there for a few points back and to stabilize this scoreline that's running rampant at the moment. It's 11-1 now. Now, interesting that they didn't have to really move that much. Something we saw from Tan Boon Hyong yesterday, actually, that he literally was just rooted in one spot. He was so good at returning and so good at clearing that he didn't have to move that far.
Yeah, I think this is all experience. They kind of like pretty much know where the shuttle's coming and where they should wait.
And then there's that smash that has been working so well. And as you said earlier, it's a tournament, it's an event that is going to favor power players. But only, of course, if the accuracy is there as well. So 2-point lead could be good enough in this case for Muar. I'm sure they're going to want to extend that a little, just to be safe. Of course, it does help, as I said, games and the difference between games won and games lost. That's what isolates your position in the table. And at the end of the season, if you're tied, and there's a good chance that could happen, then it gets down to individual point scores. we all knew that that was going to end like that. You could tell it was just moving that way. And they now have a decent 4-point lead to build off.
You can see even in this doubles match, as they're closing off, Kok Siang and Wee Kyung are actually playing much quicker.
Yeah. Just a general increase in speed and, and tempo. Now that was well left.
Service over 3-7.
And then there's that changeover that seems so much more emphatic in doubles, from the power plays to the net exchanges.
9-3.
So it looks like,
4-9.
I was just about to say, it looks like it was going to be 3-up. Commentators curse once again. Well, by the rate of points that they're winning, it should go that way. And they have match point now. And this match, incredibly, has taken 14 minutes. That's it. So, was that really a case of Wee Kyung and Kok Siang winning it, or was it more Fazandra and Zulhami losing that?
A mixture of
It was
both,
a
I
mixture
would
of
say.
both,
Yeah,
yeah.
a mixture of both. Because obviously, Wee Kyung and Kok Siang are better, like they're more powerful and speed.
And they
players.
have that understanding. as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Well, let's hear about their game from their own mouths. They're on court with JD.
All right, we're down here courtside with the guys who just picked up another win from Muar City, BC. If you look at the overall score for this tie, you have Muar City has a very big lead. Does it mean that when you started playing just now, less pressure? That's why you played so well.
Actually, not only looking on the scoring, because the game is fast and it's quite difficult to handle this. Yeah, and this is my first time to play this kind of scoring system, so I'm still getting used of it. Yeah.
Now the thing is, this partnership, are you happy with what the result came up with so far?
Yeah, I'm very happy to partner with him.
Do you want to partner with him again? Yeah. Right. Hopefully we'll see both of you again. But a win for Muar City, BC. Thank you so much, guys. All right, back to you in the iBook Court commentary box.
Okay, now I have to ask you, is that an inappropriate question that JD just asked? Because you definitely have reacted to that. I mean,
Yeah, what would he have said? He wouldn't have said no even if he didn't want to, right?
it'd be something that the manager would note down, right, he's not playing with him again. But interesting to note, before that, of course, that this point system is, they're still getting used to it. It's been 5 matches now they've been playing, but it is just so different to play. And he also said that he wasn't paying attention to the score. Now, have there ever been opportunities in your career where you've been looking at spaces as opposed to the score?
Yeah, actually, because
That's more important, I suppose, yeah. But if you look at it here, it was well done. Managed to shift that tiny gap, and then we've been saying it, best place to win a point between the pair, right in the middle.
Yeah, for left and right-hander especially.
But, sometimes, as I said, you were talking about how reflex-based it can get and how quick it can get. But at the levels you've played at, obviously, it's different. You're always going to know the score. You're not going to know the score when you're playing at the All England, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's what we've won. So we are moving on. And this is the match that you are talking about, saying that Bangsar Hawks do have a chance here.
Yeah, I actually partnered Peng Soon against Danny and Vanessa once, and we lost. So let's see how Meikwan does.
So it really is
Pengsun and Meikwan does.
hands-on personal opinion experience there, which is good. Good to know. One of the players that I've isolated, I've been talking to Donald Spears about, has been Chao Meikwan. I thought that as a mixed doubles player, she's I think 19 years old as well, seems to have a natural understanding of where she has to be.
Yeah. I think her mixed doubles is quite good.
Right, well, we'll get to that. Once again, the managers are on court, ready to talk to JD.
All right, we're down here courtside with the managers once again. First, Ismail Saman from Bangsar Halls, BC. You paired Danny with Vanessa. Is this one of those where you're expecting a win, or is it more to see if the pair works out?
Okay, for me, if we look at the world ranking, they are supposed to win, but I hope they can beat and do well in the game after this.
So expecting a win from Bangsar Halls, but I'm pretty sure Jason from Muar City might, well, hopefully will disagree, but Meikwan had a great first half of season 1, but it was more with Arif. Why break up such a successful pairing?
We don't put a word of such a breakup, but we try to make combination. I hope Pengsun and Meikwan will make a stronger combination.
We'll see how it all works out as usual. Once again, right now, back to you in the iBook Court commentary box.
I can see how terms like that would probably destabilize the two players that are standing like 3 or 4 feet just behind them. But Chao Meikwan has really, as was just confirmed there, had a great start to the first phase and is turned into the anchor for this team, this pair. The versatile player that will pick up shots, will also win points as well, and is very, very confident about what she does.
Yeah, I think Meikwan, actually, I've seen her play in training and partner Pengsun before in training, and I think their combination is quite good. I believe this will be a very, very interesting match to watch.
You did highlight the fact that this is probably Bangsar Hawks' best chance to start getting some points on the board. It is late on to try and start getting some points on the board, but every point counts, every game counts, so let's see what they can make of it. Now, we found out from Samuel yesterday in our investigative reporting up here in the commentary box about some of the transfers and deals that you can do, of course, in that mid-season break. And there's a good few changes that have been made. And it really was an experimental phase that everyone went through.
Please, ready to play.
So, Chao Meikwan with a different partner this time. But Muar City do have the luxury of being able to test out these various partnerships. And as I said, she is such a versatile player and so solid that probably going to work. I wouldn't say the worst combination was, that was the word, but the pairing that didn't work was when Azrin Ayub, the singles player, was brought on, and it's just a different positional awareness. It's just a different space that you work with. And so he was essentially playing a singles game within a doubles format. And
yeah, I think the singles and doubles game is quite different. And to be able to play both is quite an art, actually.
Yeah. Have you played singles even just against your sister, like early on?
Yeah, that's when I actually tore my ACL and had to go for surgery.
Well, that's probably the best reason to
switch to doubles.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that at all. And that's a serious injury as well, I have to say. It's the type of the one that you see on the football headlines.
It was last time I played singles.
Yeah, I can imagine. Thankfully, said you've done everybody a service by playing doubles. Now, you can expect these points to fall pretty quickly. That was a good example there of just the wall that Meikwan put up just in front of the net.
Yeah, I think for mixed doubles, it's very important for the for the girl to actually just control the net.
Yeah.
To set up a smash for the boy.
That is, as I said, that used to be the same patterns that they play in all doubles, but of course men's doubles, the game got so fast and so powerful, now everyone just stands wherever they want to stand. But in mixed doubles, definitely that has been the way. Now, of course, I've been down to Stadium Drawer, and I've seen you in training before, and training to actually get that movement around the court with your partner just got to take days and days and days and hours and hours and hours.
Oh yeah, I hated that.
Yeah. Just to know exactly where you're supposed to be. And so when you see it in action, like I said, I mean, it was a success. So, you know, we've seen you on TV doing it, and it did work. But all that training paid off in the end. But it's easy for me to say I didn't do the training. That's another wayward shot. One from Vanessa Neo. So trailing by 4 points here. That's in.
I think the good thing about having scratch pairs is that Vanessa and Danny wouldn't be able to read their game as well. Because usually if it's like a normal, proper combination, they actually look at their videos before and try and analyze the game.
That's true. Most doubles partnerships, thinking immediately of the Koreans and the Indonesians especially, have a very set way of applying themselves. But of course, while that's a pro, the fact that they are unpredictable, it has, by not having that understanding, there's obviously the spaces that get left and the errors as well. So
pros and cons.
But as I've been saying, by seeing the various levels of partnership that you can have, it really makes you appreciate the Zhang Nans and Zhao Yunleis of the world, for example, and you know, and how tight their games are. Mohamed Hassan and Septano. So far, that formation that you were talking about has been working. It's at least been, as we saw there, putting enough pressure on their opponents to force the error. And that was well done. If we get to see that again, you'll see exactly how small that space was.
Yeah, what I didn't like about playing Danny and Vanessa was that Danny actually, he's so quick that he runs all over the court.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to find an empty space.
So as a doubles player, it's easier to play two fixed players as opposed to two that are moving around a lot.
Yeah. Yes, that's definitely
Because
true.
I said I've seen, you know, games where both pairs are moving around all over the place, and incredible rallies, of course, but. So, after just 5 minutes, and don't forget that last match that we saw took 14 minutes. Muar City have again really forced the issue, asking all the questions, scoring all the points. Game point. So that takes them to 13-1. And don't forget, if they make it to a plus 14 games difference, it's 15-1, then they take top spot in the table. And the best time to do it as well, right at the beginning of the second phase. Now, this is another insight, Wheeling, that you can give us. We've been, Donald and myself and Des and everybody else, been trying to figure out what goes on here. What would you say to what's been told to you if you're in the lead, if you're behind? what's the kind of advice and motivation that your coaches can give you?
The coaches normally just come in and tell us like what kind of shots to play, what not to play, how the opponent's gonna hit.
Right.
And yeah,
it's like an overview of the
yeah,
of the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
I think they probably, that understanding of it, I'm getting more of an understanding myself of it, is protected by the managers. It's protected by coaches. They see, a good partnership growing. The last thing they'd want to do is probably highlight the bad things that you're doing or the shots that aren't going right.
Yeah, it's more like what your opponent's gonna do rather than highlighting the bad things you've done.
I think that's interesting management as it is. Because we've seen how far they can go. Now, based on how quickly that first game went, let's hope that Vanessa and Danny can pick up a few points. That's usually what's been happening. Command and control has been going back. The team in green and black. And that's another unforced errors. I can tell you now that Danny and Vanessa are 7 unforced errors up. 10-3 is the stat. And again, I'm always going on about Chan Wei-Kwan. That's a great example of what she could do just there. She was all over the court.
Yeah, exactly. Danny is quite known for his powerful smashes, and Mei-Kwan actually just defended almost all of it. It's impressive.
And she also knew when to stop as well.
Yeah, exactly. She knows exactly when to move forward.
Yeah, that was a fantastic shot. She had to change her body position totally. No doubt, of course, she's been on the winning end of games and has been another name and is first on the team sheet. And another person that looks like she's enjoying her game as well. And that's that big smash. And if it doesn't score the point itself, it'll at least cause enough problems by coming in such a steep angle at such speed that it's difficult to recover. Well, she can't do everything, but she did a fair bit there.
It's quite interesting to see in mixed doubles how the lady actually sets up for the guy to actually go behind and smash.
And when you have someone as versatile as Mei-Kwan in front of you, then it gives you a lot of opportunities for that smash. If she doesn't take it herself, of course. She might be playing a singles game. Well, as I said, the smash that comes from the male player at the back has to be good enough and fast enough that it is unreturnable. It's either going to be a winner or it's not going to be returned. So either way, the points will stack up.
Bangsar actually broke his strings during the rally. I think Danny knew he broke his strings, that's why I was hitting every smash to him.
So, oh, they do that then. They actually do that. I knew it. I knew it. Figure out the weaknesses and then go for the jugular. A little bit of a musical interlude for you. Just for 20 seconds, very strict regulations as to the speed and pace of the game. So it's only 20 seconds between each of the points, and just like that, we're back in the game. 5-all. Well, she's of course human. She does make the odd mistake, but the interesting thing is that over the first phase of play, and even in this game, the rate of errors that she makes is very small. I think the benefit she gives to the pair is far greater. That one's out.
It was good anticipation by Vanessa though. She could actually see it coming. Slightly unlucky there.
Yeah, very close. So many different angles, different points of attack that Muar City have in this mixed doubles category. And just an incredible return again.
It's amazing how Mei Kwan just squats down there and waits for the smash. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Sometimes it's almost like, you know, she literally knows exactly the spot in the air where it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's especially important for mixed doubles for the lady to actually know where to wait and where the shuttle is coming.
She does have a great understanding of that, even to the point as to where her partner is behind her as well. She'll know when to...
Where to move and when to move in, yeah.
That's interesting. You can just see her being a bit upset with herself that she missed that.
This is getting really, really interesting.
It is. It's a much more sterling performance from Vanessa and Danny especially. Take it to 9-all. They weren't going to let just run away with it. And I think that's an interesting point there as well. The fact that even when you get them into a defensive pattern, they can still turn it around. They can still basically transition that play with a smash or
exactly.
a really good net
it's
shot.
An art actually to turn like your defensive
into
to an attack. Yeah.
You can see there they're ready for it. They're both moving back to the baseline. They'll take anything on. They just don't care.
I must say I'm really, really impressed by Peng Soon and Mei Kwan's performance.
Well, I said this is the first time they've been playing together. She's been playing with one of the Latif brothers, if I'm right. And that was impeccable, the first phase.
Perhaps this is their secret weapon.
And with that game, Muar has unofficially, taken the top of the league, the top of the Kopiko Purple League. So while some at least thought that perhaps it was a matter of incidence or coincidence that Puchong United and Muar City came out with such big wins in the first phase to take the top two spots, because it was of course the first league ever we haven't got a defending champion. We haven't got any of these benchmarks to work off. This second phase was always going to show us exactly who's moving forward. And Puchong came out. They laid their game down again and took the top spot. And now it looks like Muar City have done exactly the same. So they look like definite contenders for not just the Champions Challenge, of course, which is post-season, you could say. It's after the regular season, where the top 8 teams of the 12 competing clubs will play in Genting Highlands for a special weekend. Not only will they be within that 8, I think for sure, but they'll also be fighting for the title. But with a league system, injuries, fatigue, conflicts of schedules, sorts of other factors come into play. And that was single-handedly won by Mei Kwan.
It's amazing how she actually just squats down and defends all the smashes. Especially
And
when
still,
Danny's smash is so powerful.
And still keeps it low over the net. It must be frustrating, I'm assuming, if you literally throw in your best smash and it's just returned so easily and so quickly.
Especially by the lady.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times in a row. That's bound to upset your thinking a little bit. And that was well positioned. Still just 16 minutes in to this match. It's been very quick turnarounds for Muar City. Now the question is, what can Danny and Vanessa do here to break down this solid wall, which just keeps advancing towards them, you know, faster and faster?
I think Danny and Vanessa are now playing much quicker compared to the first 2 sets. So Danny is really moving his opponent around the court much more now.
Might be a case of too little too late. And they're just not being able to keep a point run together. The shuttle and serve keeps going back to Muar City too much. So it's a very staggered growth. 3-all here. And then there's that unforced error stat, which is currently 15-8. And I'm sure, as a doubles player, 15 probably not the right number.
No.
No, I would have thought not.
Especially with the new scoring system.
That's right. That's 15 given away points in the 11-point system. That's a nice disguised drop. That's a great return again for Mei Kwan.
It's a great rally.
They just seem to be everywhere.
I think Vanessa was actually waiting for a forehand smash right there. Slight misanticipation.
Well, the good thing you could take is, of course, they have been trying a lot of different ways to win. It's just, as I said, it's very solid. She's smiling about it. Oh, it's very strange. She makes the most difficult shots at the net and the straightest serve. Wow, that was direct and to the point. I haven't actually, I think in all the matches that I've watched Meikwan play so far, I think I've only seen her miss maybe 10 shots, literally.
Yeah, I think she's quite a good player. I think she actually has quite a bright future ahead of her.
And again, one of those names that just would not have been known had it not been for the Kopiko Purple League.
She's very versatile in the sense that she can play both mixed doubles and doubles as well.
Yep.
Which is very good in a team event, actually.
And there are so many of them as well. Well, I said we've identified a few men's singles players, especially that have a powerful enough smash and decent enough net game that they could definitely progress, go somewhere else. But from mixed doubles, Meikwan and Chen Zhao, actually, from one of the Chinese imports have come in. Probably the most solid of the female parts of the pairs. Wow, it's these unforced errors that are really making the difference now. That makes it 18-9. And I think it's because they are trying to, with the best intentions, find as many spots as they can.
You're just causing them to make unforced errors. Yeah. Too eager to kill.
Well, and that's it. So, another clean dismissal, and that really will put them on top of the league. And that means that they've now won the last 4 matches, 3-0. 1 game has been conceded.
And that's another win for Muar City BC.
And let's see whether they're going to be modest about it or downbeat about it, or even worse, come out and say that was a really bad performance by me. That was the worst ever. Really, how can you let me on a court? Let's find out what they have to say. They're on court with JD.
All right, what a performance. First and foremost, I'm down here with the mixed doubles winners. I gotta know, your record in the Kopiko Purple League, first half perfect, you continue. Is there pressure from your coach, from your manager, that every match you play, you must win?
No, we just try our best to do our best to get more points for our team.
Now, the thing is, she's had a lot of partners already. Now, are you happy with this partnership, and would you like to partner her again?
Yeah, because we just partnered his first game in this tournament, then win 3-0, then we are quite happy. So I think the coach will arrange, we continue partner.
I see, I like that very much. Thank you very much. Muar City winners once again. Back to you in the Ivor Court commentary box. They have a massive lead.
Well, as a journalist, I can tell you now that if, with their record of continuous wins, that if a manager decided to break them up as a pair, that would probably make the biggest headlines in sport, I have to say. Because you don't want to fix something that certainly isn't broken, and they have consistently delivered points. Now, we're going to have a look now at how they did it. Look at some of these highlights. They're literally just standing mid-court. They don't believe in baseline clearances because they don't need it. Now, you were talking about the understanding between both of them and that traditional format as well. And I think we're about to see now exactly how it works. And they are always moving together and covering that, not just that part. They're not too vertical to kill their pair, and they're not too flat either.
Yeah, so both of them just covering each other's gaps and moving around each other, as we have seen.
But still, at the speed that the game's played, it's amazing that You know exactly where those spots are. Of course, the higher levels that you've seen, especially, the game gets down to inches and gets down to, you know, millimeters at times in singles. How you see that at such speed? I mean, you must have incredible reflexes.
Yeah, actually, in doubles, it's very important that you have fast reflexes, but at the same time, you need to be like ready for the shot.
Yeah.
For the men's doubles, first representing Muar CBC, Mak Hee-chun and Tan Min Chen.
And so another strong pair is announced for Muar City. Mak Hee-chun and Tan Min Chen. Well, you're talking about a power game.
Yeah, Tan Bin Chen and Mak Hee-chun actually just won the national GP finals.
Let me just guess. Did they by any chance have the highest smash average total? Probably.
I think
Yeah,
so.
probably. Because the times I've watched them, it's usually serve, second shot, and as you actually confirmed it, third shot killed. That's it, done.
Yeah. It's very important. Yeah.
So just before we get to that match, one final word from the managers, who are with JD.
All right, we're down here with the coaches once again. The last time for this tie between these two guys. Now, first is Ismail, someone from Bangsar Hawks BC. How will your pairing handle such an experienced pairing? What's the strategy here?
Okay, I think Tan and the Muar partner is very experienced, but I already told my player to fight until the end. Don't give up, because how you want to get experience for the partner.
Somehow, I think there's going to be a secret weapon somewhere along there they might be unleashing. But right now, over to Jason from Muar City BC. Now, this combination has been really, really good for you. Is this your ideal combination? Because you split them up before.
Recently, they won the GP finals in Terengganu. So I think we better keep up at this pairing.
So we'll hope to see a win, maybe. I don't know which side it's going to be, but it's all back to you in the iBook Court commentary box.
I think that's a valid reason for keeping them together. I mean, if they just won that. But you actually saw that? You saw their performance there?
Yeah, they played really well actually, and I think it actually gave them a confidence boost.
Yeah.
So it's quite normal for the manager to actually stick them together.
Well, as I said, it would be the strangest decision in sport. You were talking earlier about how the first steps from going from playing at the Tropicana Golf and Country Club to in front of cameras. Did you also have a confidence-boosting game, one game that you can remember, or a series of matches where you thought, right, this is going really well, and I'm getting much, much better at my game?
Yeah, I would say it was winning the World Junior with Lim Kim Hwa, who just played yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds big enough. to a normal person like me, that sounds anything with world in front of it. But how did that feel then?
It was great actually. We actually were in Auckland, and my parents and my sister were there to actually support me.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so actually made it all double happiness.
So I'm guessing now you don't have to do anything else for the rest of your life because you've already won a title in front of your parents. I would love to have done that. Love to. If my dad, if he could have seen me with a trophy, wow, that would have been fantastic. You don't get trophies for commentating. Funnily enough.
They still nag me a lot though.
Where's the next one? Why is that coming? Has to be, but that's what parents do, and it really is. As I said, it highlights the family atmosphere that Dato Jack Koh is the man behind all this, the visionary. He's taken a year to put this together. That's one of the factors he wanted. All these kids that have turned up can now, as I said, as we pointed out, find out the names of these people, go and actually track them. But on top of that, they can go straight to these badminton clubs, Kapong Badminton Club. They know where they all are if they decide that badminton is a career.
Bangsar Hawks BC, represented by Aaron Chadianko and Satish Karan Ramachandran. Bangsar Hawks BC's concern, Aaron Chadianko to Mak Hee-chun, level play.
And as we get underway, I can tell you that if Mak Hee-chun and Tan Bin Chen win this 3-0, then it will be the biggest score that the Kopiko Purple League has seen. That'll be 18-1 if That's near perfect. That's pretty much.
It's amazing fighting spirit from Muar City.
To have that same energy moving through each of the players as they come in. Well, will it be an 18-1? I said we had an 18-4. I think that was the... And it actually turned out to be a very significant 4 games lost, because at the end of the first phase, Muar City and Puchong United were actually tied on 61 wins, and it was just the extra 2 losses from Muar City that put them in second place. So that's how close it was. But then, I mean, there's aiming for 3-0 victories 6 times in a row, and then there's delivering them. And what they've done here is essentially deliver 5 in a row in just that one game, which ironically came from probably their most experienced. Lee Hyun-il is the one that conceded the game. Unbelievable.
It's amazing, actually, seeing how these these teams like actually fight so much for the clubs and all.
I've wondered whether it's a training regime at the club, or whether it's you know, massive motivational speeches, or
I guess it's a mixture of both, actually. Yeah.
Gotta have that attitude that they do all feel like a team. And right now, this hustling play. So 6-4, and possibly a chance to, well, I was going to say move away.
Maybe not.
That was just way too long. I think that's the only way you're going to get past a pair like Ma Kintan, is to quickly build up at least a 3 or 4 point gap and then defend it. Because once they get the serve in, see now, always straight on the smashes. And this is what I was talking about beforehand with the men's game, in that it's almost just stabilized, in that a lot of pairs are exactly the same size, exactly the same shape, almost twins when you see them, and they can, you know, just as powerful at the net, just as powerful from the baseline. So you get a whole new variety of positions that you can be in. And these two especially just power their way through points. As you can see right there. In this 11-point system, of course, the important points are no longer 17, 18, and 19, as they just simply do not exist. It is 7, 8, 9, and those are the ones that would create the psychological edge. And we've just hit that now.
Yeah, we can now see that Bin Shentan and Hee Chun Mak are actually playing with a lot more experience compared to the 2 in yellow.
Yeah. Well, as I said, they've had a pretty good record, and that is uncharacteristic. But they came out the blocks in the first phase, and they were literally just smashing every single shot and winning games very quickly. What we're seeing here is, as you said, a little bit more solid. It's a little bit more safe, I suppose.
Yeah. It's amazing how Tan Bin Shen is now 32 years old and he's still so fit and can still play with that speed.
Well, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Unless, of course. Nope. And we're closing in on that magical score. And that now takes it to I'm just going to really check these numbers. That should be 16-1. Yep, I wasn't wrong there. There needs to be a rocket scientist for that one with the 5-3 nils in the middle of it. So everything going according to plan for Muar City. And as I said, when they first turned up, and nobody knew anything about the league, and nobody knew, who was going to be the front runners, they really set the pace for everybody else. And they're the ones that essentially created this unwritten rule that you should win or lose the tie, take away 10 games. If you can take away 10 games from every tie that you play, and stack them up at the end of the season, you can at least be mid-table or higher.
Yeah, exactly, especially because it's based on games won and not matches won.
That has been a massive thing. But of course, the flip side is that Bangsar Hawks, this is the second drubbing that they've had. And so they are facing incredible game differential just to get themselves back into the top 8. Essentially, I suppose what I'm saying is it's harder to get off the bottom, and it's easier to stay at the top because there are so many different combinations of points and games you can make. But a lot of the ties recently, especially in the last couple of days, have balanced out at around about 10-12, 10-8. And so both teams have at least managed to walk away with something. Not today, by the looks of it. And the question I have to ask you, I suppose, from Bangsar's side, are they doing enough? They are playing a solid force, true, but are they doing enough as a partnership in terms of their movement?
I think because these two players are quite a young pair, so obviously in terms of playing level and experience, they're not as good as Tan and Mark. But I'm quite impressed by how they're playing, actually. So much energy and fire.
I think then after that, probably just have to craft in the actual positional places.
Muar City players looking really happy with their teammates' performance today.
I wonder why. I'm actually baffled there. But that was interesting. Tan Boon Hyung, I said, stepped off court yesterday. And it's now called the Tan Boon Hyung analysis because he played a perfect game. And they asked him, how was your game? He said, I played really badly. That was not good for me. And there was like 3 love. What are you doing? But that's what happens, I suppose, when you're former world number 1. You set your standards a little bit higher. But,
would be quite discouraging for his opponent, I would say.
Donald and myself were singing, going, hello? Can it get any better than that? Well, I like to see stuff like that. As you said, it's about fire, it's about passion, it's about drive.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
When you have that even after you've won everything, after you've been to the biggest stages, and it's good to see. It's that kind of feeling that led Michael Jordan to come out of retirement, Michael Schumacher to start getting in a car at 42, because you still believe you can go and do it.
I think it's more the passion of the sport, for the sport,
Ironically, I think the only instance and sport where that hardly ever happens is football, because there's such a turnaround of players every year, new young players coming in, and old players going out, that it was Zinedine Zidane that won the World Cup and said, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
There was not much he could drive himself with. But now, of course, in this same vein here, a lot of grassroots development, a lot of European footballers coming out here and setting up coaching clinics to
also
grow Asian football.
I think also because football is very taxing physically, just running up and down 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I think they actually end up running miles when they count up.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank goodness I'm not a football player.
So, fault call that, 8-3. This will give them a good confidence boost if they can pull it off. But that did also look like much slower play from Makitan.
Yeah, they seem to be taking things a bit too lightly in the second set after winning the first.
We'll get to see whether they pay the price for that. We've seen others pay the price for it. Wow, wow. Get the highlights reel out because that was great. Intentional, 100% intentional, aimed. That's actually on par with another shot I saw, which was a